Up, guys? All right, we'll start off with a GU today because if this is going to be anything that give a pre-market entry, it'll be GU. So we'll just kick it off with that. All right, clearly in the complex pullback at the moment of that external bearish leg there. Knowing that this leg doesn't necessarily have to hold as we can come way up higher, all the way up to these sorts of areas, given 4 hour extreme, but ultimately working our way down inside of this daily leg at the moment in this bigger portion of the complex pullback here. So buying to eventually selling is the go, but we are valid to sell right now. So we've just induced the decisional of our 15-minute and hourly external break. So I'm happy to sell where it is. Just need obviously price to now start to set up a little bit. Got a bunch of liquidity built up down here that we can look to target. We have only swept Asia high, which isn't the greatest, but we've obviously got that decisional inducement. So I'm happy to work with that there. We did have a little sweep of Asia high just here, or here really, which had a little break, but nothing too crazy. So, you could say it's Asia high sellers have already been taken out of the market, but more or less what I'm looking at. So we've got break of structure, retest. If I can get an inducement of the retest, I'm then happy to work inside of this range. Whatever presents after the inducement of it, I'm happy to work with, whether it's something like a smart money trap entry and we work with something there and then obviously take a sell, or whether we get, price just pushing its way up, break, and then I'll go from there. So see what it wants to do. It is melting off right now, but either way, I want to sell when we sweep this. If this breaks this low, which is probably going to, it'll just generate more liquidity here. So that's perfectly fine. I'll be working with that, but ultimately I'm not selling until we come inside there. Buyers for me are a bit interesting because this break here obviously hasn't been retested. It'll get retested when we do this, have that little break. It'll then create this as retest. So that's ultimately another setup for the sell idea. But really, I wouldn't want to buy it until we come like down here, even down here, just given the fact that like that's fine as a medium inducement, but we've just induced such a significant area that we're going to need to at least take a 15-minute low before I'd be happy to buy price back up. I don't want to fight against this, not unless I get, really good retest, inducement, mitigation, really good build up like this, break, retest, I just get phenomenal structure, then I'll be happy to buy. But I really need price to be able to tell me that this decisional inducement doesn't mean anything. So until I get that, I'm just going to be looking for sells. It is against momentum, which I don't like, but it isn't overly strong. And we've got a really strong inducement. So I'm happy to work with that. Now, going across to EU. EU hasn't yet come to its decisional. We do have retests here of that first break that created this decisional point. So getting a really good inducement into the mitigation if we can get up there. Ultimately, I'd like to wait for that, but we can buy up to it. Obviously, the divergence is a bit interesting, so that side of things is a bit meh. But like I said, ideally, I'd like to sell from here. This is more or less a valid low as it created internal retest, induced it, broke structure. This range, however, isn't looking likely to hold, just given obviously hasn't been retested or anything here. If we were to come down here, generate some liquidity at least, do something, get to this area, which is the decisional of that break, which also had internal retest, break, sweeping that and push. If we can come to this decisional area, I'd be happy to buy price up as long as we don't get to here first. So just got to see where that goes, but EU is just going to be a little bit of a waiting game, but I'm happy to sell it from up there. Now, AU's of course coming from that extreme, good strong push, starting to slow down a little bit in here. And like I was saying yesterday, I don't believe this is going to hold just because we've swept a weekly high. Coming into this area, which is retest of the first break that created the first, major break that started that complex pullback. Now, obviously quite bullish. What we've got is an inducement low, break high with a decisional just here. So what I'm looking for is if we can come down, induce the decisional, I'll be happy to then work with something out of this smart money trap, see if we can get something inside of there to better work with for a buy. But yeah, that's ultimately it really is. Come down here, induce that, I'll buy it. Inducing that, I'd buy it. Inducing that, I'd be happy to buy. We're just starting to get a bit away from where price is now if we, start pushing that far. But yeah, we'll see. In terms of sells, given the significance of this point as well, I'd be happy to sell from there if we can come up, mitigate, work with this as a smart money trap. We can definitely sell off of the back of that as well. So see how this wants to shape up, but ultimately looking for buyers off of the back of that. To start with, just following with this momentum. In terms of news, we've got FOMC overnight, and then we've got a little bit of red folder in New York, nothing for London. So we should be good on that side of things. As always, let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll speak to you all soon.